Good evening, everybody. My name is Art Whitman, Chair of the Shaftsbury Select Board. I'd like to call this meeting of the Shaftsbury Select Board to order on Monday, April 3rd, 2023 at 6:30. The first order of business, does anybody have any conflict of interest or anything on the agenda?
No. And Naomi's on.
Hi, Naomi.
Hi. No conflicts.
Okay, the next is minutes. We have minutes from our last meeting, and let's see, I think everybody was here. Myself, Mike, Martha, Tony, and Naomi. So entertain a motion to approve minutes.
So moved.
Moved by Mike, seconded by Tony. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
So carried, 5-0-0. Warrants. We have quite a few today. So, the first one is check warrant number 3, which is for the retirement plan for the town employees for $16,474.48.
So moved.
Moved by Tony,
Second.
second by Martha. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? So carried, 5-0-0.
Thank you.
The next one is check warrant number 33 for $45,974.68.
So moved.
Moved by Tony,
Second.
second by Martha. Item is over $1,000. Appalachia Salt, $2,884. Carographic Technologies, $1,200.
That was for training on our mapping system.
Okay. Dufresne's Group, $5,100.
That's the sidewalk project.
Okay. GA Bove Fuel, $1,556. And another one for $1,987. LHS Associates Incorporated, $2,539.
That's the election things for the clerk.
Okay. Morris Repair, $1,147. MSK Engineering and Design, $2,818.
That's for the never-ending vent at the landfill.
Still working on that, okay. Nimerick, $3,182. Sycamore Landscaping, $2,700. Okay, US Bank, $14,095. Is that a payment
That's the bond, second payment of the year for the bond.
for the garage?
Yeah, for the bond, yeah.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? So carried, 5-0-0.
Thank you.
Next, I have payroll warrant number 19 for $31,027.15.
So moved.
Moved by Tony,
Second.
second by Martha. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? So carried, 500.
Thank you.
And we have payroll warrant number 20 for $28,558.41.
So moved.
Moved by Tony,
Second.
second by Mike. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? So carried, 500.
Thank you.
And back in July, we approved these, the minutes show that we approved these warrants, but the paperwork with the signatures is missing, so all we're doing is just signing something that the record shows that we did vote on. So we don't have to vote on, we just have to sign this, okay? The auditors are very specific about some things, aren't they? It was both the payroll warrant and the check warrant. Okay, next on the agenda is announcements. Does anybody have any announcements? I'm going to ask Dave to talk about what he's been talking with the solar project people.
Okay, today, we got word from the state that the curb cut, if you want to call it, off 7 was approval in concept, which means the Director of Transportation has signed off on it. So now they're just working on, working out some of the details, acceleration, deceleration lanes, whether, depending on the type of equipment, they'll need flaggers out for certain equipment on the highway. But it has been approved in concept by the state, so that's basically an approval. Excuse me, what just happened to my Zoom?
Oh,
No, we just lost Zoom for a second, so,
might have to start again.
well, we'll continue, so, I don't know, just in case we don't get it back, but we can recap, but that's the real issue with that. So that's good news from the town's point of view, because it'll take all the heavy trucks off the local roads.
Recording in progress.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
about the meeting at the school.
Yep, hold on one second,
Okay.
let me get this back. Everybody's back?
And now you seem to be muted.
Okay, yep, it muted me also, okay. All right, everybody back? All right. So, as I was saying, the state has given a approval in concept of the curb cut off 7 for the solar project. That'll take all the heavy trucking off the town's roads. The approval in concept means it's approved by the director, and they're going to be looking at tightening up the engineering on it for acceleration, deceleration lanes, flaggers when needed, that. The company, the developers still are interested in, will be trying to arrange putting on an informational presentation, probably at the school in the beginning of May, where they will have their experts that will answer questions individually. People will just be able to go around and speak to them on different subject matters. They'll have a lot of subject matter experts there that can answer a lot of questions for people. That will be presented solely by the developers. They will work with the school if they can arrange that to be the place where they hold it. So just so you know that that's out there, and when they finalize their plans, we will certainly have it on our webpage for everyone.
And they're looking for what people want to talk about.
Yeah, it's mainly all the topics that have come up at the public meetings that have been held. Everything from, you know, how they're gonna control the growth on the property, to the traffic, to you name it. They'll have people there, they're experts to address all the issues that have come up.
Any other announcements? Public comments. Anybody on, nobody here,
Yep.
but, yes, go ahead. Yes.
Hi, I just have a few questions that I think are pretty simple. This winter, when Sheriff Gully was elected, he listed all the towns he would be meeting with to discuss what their needs are. And Shaftsbury was the only town not listed, and so I wondered if the town has or will be meeting with him, simply because when we talked about changing the speed limits, we all agreed that we need more enforcement for that. And it seems like the sheriff's department would be the ones we'd be turning to.
Tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, I and Dave Kernan are gonna meet with the new sheriff in town, okay? We've had a contract with him right along, and we want to negotiate a contract for more time and that sort of stuff, if they're willing to do it. But 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, we're gonna be talking, okay?
Great timing. And I remember before we had the contract, but the hours weren't remotely met by the sheriff's department, so I assume that's something you'll be addressing, right?
That's a big topic, yes.
Yep, great. Another thing I wanted to ask you about, over the years, the town road crew, and it may not have even been the present one, have left significant debris along the roadside on the west end of Cold Spring Road. They left a variety of culverts, and they left a pile of smaller culverts between Swain's house and the White Creek Road, and eventually the Swains were able to dispose of them, but there's still, after years and years and years, a gigantic rusty culvert that's been left on the south side near the bridge. You know where I mean?
Mike Iannani, who is the road foreman, is shaking his head, okay?
Yeah, that
Okay.
culvert disappeared. I'm pretty sure it washed out of Swain's Field up above that box culvert, excuse me. And it's way down off the road, farther than I could reach at the time, and that's where it's been. But it's been there before I've even started with the town.
Okay,
I know where it is.
okay.
We'll take care of
It's
it.
actually not, the huge one, rusty one I'm talking about is right on the east side of the little bridge.
Yeah,
And it's not very far off the road, and it's just way too big for we, the citizens, to take care of. So that's why I was hoping the town would finally take care of this debris.
Mike is shaking his head yes,
Oh, that'd be great.
okay?
It's been there a really long time, and I don't think it reflects very well on the town, you
Okay.
know?
Thank you.
So that'd be great. And the third and last thing I wanted to ask you about is what is all the material that was plowed up from the roads left on the shoulders of the roads? It's those huge gray piles, because it's dried like cement, and I've tried with like a metal rake to get it off, and I can't even budge it. What is it, and what would you recommend that we do?
Just,
power broom.
a power broom, I know that your husband had a power broom
Sand and
running one
gravel.
year. It's the stone chips from the winter time that gets, it was a rough winter because every time it snowed, it would warm up and we'd put on stone so the people wouldn't slip and slide, and then we would
Well,
end up plowing
it
it
seems
off.
to be very fine, like, almost like a sand,
Yeah,
and
the
it's
winter
just
sand.
hardened like cement. But we've never had that happen since we've lived here, so I wondered if it was a new material put on the road?
No, we've been using stone chips for quite a few years, as opposed to bank run sand.
It never froze, so every time we plowed, we just plowed it right off. It never stayed.
Yeah, it wasn't a typical winter where it froze, and so every time we plowed, it would end up plowing what we put on right off again.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. But a power broom probably will do work on that.
Okay, we'll get to it.
Okay. Anybody else? Nothing? No, I don't see any more hands. Okay, Melanie, treasurer's report.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
We see the cash flow first, please.
It's coming. They seem to be working. Oh, there it is. I'm gonna have to wear my glasses when I come over here.
Uh-oh. Join the club with all of us.
I don't know why okay, good. So let's see. A lot of this we talked about before, that the big number there was the money that was due to the general fund from all the reserve accounts. That represents all of the checks that we wrote on funds other than the general fund. So that was giving us, since it's back where it's supposed to be, that gives us a better idea of what our cash balance is to get us through the end of the fiscal year, and then to see whether we're going to need to borrow money before we get tax money coming in. This is all normal, we go through this every year. So if you want to slide down a little bit. Let's see, that cemetery transfer was a transfer that was the, oh yes, I remember now. The auditors, the professional auditors had accounted for a transfer that created a due to the cemetery fund. So, and it had been sitting there for a long time after they gave us a general journal entry to do. So that's what that represents. So we had money going into the general fund, also money coming out. That was because of an adjustment that the professional auditors made. I didn't want to have it just be a net number because it wouldn't have been as informative, but, so that's what that was. Then, yeah, we had three payrolls in March. Okay, go down a little bit more. Okay, so that 471 is the cash as of today. We're going to keep an eye on it for the last few months of the fiscal year, but it looks fine for now. We want to go down a little bit more. I am not showing the comparison to the previous year for the reason we discussed before. It's very misleading, so we're just going to keep an eye on how we're doing versus budget for this year. And then when we start the new fiscal year, I will start reflecting this year and the prior again. So that's we're practically there with the budget for revenues. There's another highway money coming from the state. That's going to bring in some more. Then there'll be some delinquent tax money probably. So that makes the difference between where we are today and where we probably will be by the end of June. The expenditures are coming in. Hard to say. Maybe we pre-bought a lot of stuff for the highway department, and so
We're actually running at about 78%. When you factor out like things like all the transfers, the reserves, the community appropriations, the county taxes are all 100% paid, so that brings us up a bit. But we are running about 2.25% above budget right now, which is like $57,000. So that's not the end of the world with 3 months ago, because we can usually adjust things out as we get closer. We'll just have to you'll pump the brakes on a few things and bring it in closer.
Yeah, and it's hard to get a really good handle on it just because of some expenses, because of timing, some expenses have already been taken care of, and whatever. So we'll keep an eye on it for the next couple of months. And then in the last meeting, we talked about delinquent taxes. You asked me how it was versus previous years. So you can see we are at 147 and change, still outstanding versus last year. And I was thinking about that number. Last year was actually unusually low because around this time of year, Mert got, you probably remember this, a gigantic check
Right.
for all of the back taxes
Yes,
on that property
on
on
that
7A.
Yes.
And I think that that actually represents even more than the difference between
Okay.
where we are as of now for this year. So it's, if you look at it versus last year, and even that is a very small amount, but it
Yes.
looks like we're running ahead. I would say we're not. I think this is
Okay.
a pretty ordinary to good year for
Okay,
delinquent
thank you.
taxes. If you want to take a real quick look at the reserves, there's nothing we haven't discussed, I don't think. You see all of the debits there. That's the transfer to the general fund that I already talked about. If we go down far enough to see the cemetery, that's where that other transfer is going to appear. So at the 850 line there, that's the money that was owed to the cemetery from the general fund. So that's why that's in that direction.
Okay.
The Lister's reappraisal, that 1819 you see there, that's money from the state per parcel, a dollar per parcel that we always get this time of year. There's another payment coming as well. And then the rest, the only other thing is some very late water payments. Any questions about any of that? Okay, the only other thing is that many people are still coming to me for their tax bills. Got another, not even 2 weeks to get them, and I get them out as fast as I can, but the information you need is actually on our website. If you go to the grand list for tax preparers, if you're not getting me and you're frustrated, you can go there. There's a spreadsheet that has actually all the information you need. It has your house site value, your parcel ID, your SPAN number, all of that stuff is actually online. Okay, any questions about any of that? Okay,
Thank you.
Thank
thank you.
So next on the agenda, it was pointed out to us, or it became apparent at our town meeting back in March, that we did not have a constable. And so, because nobody went out and got a ballot and was on the thing, the select board has the authority to appoint someone, and Mr. Perry would love to be our, why don't you come up and we can ask you a few questions before we make a motion?
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Anybody?
Well, just to
you've been-
state so people know, some do that know me, but I've been constable about 14 or 15 years now. And I serve it because I care to, I want to. It's kind of a public service for myself. I had some experience in law enforcement when I grew up in Connecticut before I moved up here. I was on a police force in a local town for a couple of years down there, and then made the move for my career job up here. And I've been here now about 43 years. So got back into law enforcement when I saw, or at least, you know, the policing end of the constable job, when I saw that it was something I cared to do and the town needed somebody. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. And I didn't realize, I was kind of under the misunderstanding, I guess it was a 2-year position. And I got the ballot signed for a year ago, but I didn't think I had to do it for this year, and that's why I didn't get the petitions in. And so that was an oversight on my part, but we won't do that again.
No. What town in Connecticut?
Small town, Granby, just
Yeah.
north of Hartford, actually sits right on the Mass line.
Anybody have any questions for him before we take a vote?
No, not for me.
entertain a motion to adopt Mr. Perry as our,
I
Oh,
wonder,
yes.
Naomi just came
I'm
off
sorry,
of.
Naomi.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I was just unmuting. so-
Got it. Okay. I was like, oh no.
Entertain a motion to, that the select board appoint Bob Perry as a constable for 1 year to serve as the constable using, which his duties are defined by the state and so on and so forth, okay?
Naomi actually did, I don't know, were you being,
So moved.
Okay, that's a motion by Naomi.
I'll make a second.
Second by Mike. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried, 500. Thank you, Bob, very much.
Thank you, I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Yep, we've got some jobs for you.
Yeah,
Dave and I had talked about it.
yeah. Hey, Bob, if you could stop in or give me a call after 10, I have meetings till 10 tomorrow. Go over
Right,
a few
I have-
things.
I have I've got an appointment with my dog at 9, so it wouldn't be till,
I'll be here till 4.
got it.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Take care.
Okay, next on the agenda is the DPW. First on, quite a bit we've got to handle here.
Things I want to see as well.
The last meeting, we opened bids. One of them was for Granger Hollow culvert. There were two
Two bids.
two bids for that. One of them was for Kurtz for $156,000 and Weaver for $211,000. So what we did is we turned this over to Mike to make sure that they were both somewhat apples to apples and so on and so forth. So, Mike, if you can make a recommendation or have an opinion, we'd like to.
Yeah. So I've been thinking about this a lot. I know the number's quite a difference, and I'm not really worried about that part because of the grant process and the way that works and everything. The project will be totally funded, and the town still only has the 10% match on either amount.
Yeah.
But after talking to each contractor and figuring out their ways of doing the project and everything, my recommendation is Weaver. And I've done a lot of work with, or we've done a lot of work with Weaver. He's always been there for us if we had an emergency or something. Every project they've done has come out really well and worked good together. Nothing against Kurtz, I've never really worked with them. I don't have a lot of experience with them. I would like to see them bid other projects too down the road. And one of the main topics was, I chose Weaver, is that project is going to impact 2 roads. And there's only one way in, one way out.
Of both hollows.
Yeah.
Both hollows. The culvert ends up, so you got Granger Hollow and Shaftsbury Hollow. The culvert is like 30 feet above Shaftsbury Hollow
Right.
intersection. So we have to make a road
Around
around
that.
where
Wow.
that is to feed into Shaftsbury Hollow and Granger Hollow. And they also have to make it wide enough and protect it with barriers and deal with the river that they have to work under.
Right.
It's quite a
Be a
project.
project.
It's not a timely project like the other one because it's a smaller culvert,
Right.
but the traffic control is, that's where you're gonna put in a lot of your, if you could close that road down, you could do this in 3 days,
Right.
no problem. But you're looking at 2 weeks, and there's a lot on that could go wrong if the wrong choices were made.
Just a reminder, a year ago, when Mr. Weaver was doing the project, a thunderstorm came and wiped out the road, and we literally had part of Shasbury Hollow cut off.
Yes, we did.
And if he hadn't have worked all up until dark,
It would have been a
It
real
would have been-
crisis.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
he has the huge equipment, he seems to have the experience, but,
Yeah,
so.
and they, I'm speaking with both of them, they're approved to work for the state, they're approved to work on state-funded projects, and in the rivers with A&R. When I asked the question with Kurtz, they didn't have any working in the roads with towns or in the rivers with towns, so that's why I'm weighing my thoughts to Weaver.
So why don't we make a motion, then we can have further discussion if necessary,
So moved
that
that we,
give the bid to.
yes, follow the recommendations of our town foreman on Weaver
And give the.
for
bid to
Granger Hollow
for
culvert.
Granger, okay? That's a motion.
Second.
Second by Tony. Now we can discuss.
Yep. If you feel that's the way to go, I know you work with them a lot. I know they've got experience with what we just talked about, what happened there last summer, so I want to see what the worst case scenario can be. So I'm comfortable with it.
Martha?
Yep,
do you have-
I think
make a
that
motion? Okay.
sounds good.
Naomi?
Yeah, I feel the same. I just hope that, that Kurtz does come forward with other bids, because this is how people get to have the experience, is by being given smaller jobs from the town, so.
Yeah, this was a major project.
This is a big one, so I
Yeah.
totally endorse
Okay,
Mike's recommendation.
okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? So carried, 500. Thank you.
And I agree with what she says too. You know,
Yep,
We want to have all of our
Yeah.
businesses in
down
town.
the road,
Giving-
we'll see how the next one goes.
Yep.
This,
Okay.
on this project, that's how I feel.
Yep.
good.
Thank you.
Now, the next one is
Howard
between Kurtz and Matt Morris for the drainage at the Howard Park.
Yes.
In your opinion, are they
They're-
both pretty?
Yeah, they're really close on this one. They're both their numbers are, they're within
Reasonable.
$1,000
But
with each
they're-
other. Oh, yeah.
They're bidding on the same thing?
Yeah, yes, each item that I broke down was really, really close, so I recommend the low bid on this one.
Which is who?
Mr. Morris,
Right.
Matt
Oh,
Morris.
which is Morse, okay.
And that's where I am there. This is a very smaller project. A lot of stuff needs to be done at Howard Park.
Yeah.
Somebody want to make a motion?
Sure.
So we can have some discussion?
Yeah, I can make a motion to proceed with the Matt Morse's low bid for
Low
the
bid.
Howard Park project.
Do I have a second?
Second.
A motion made by Mike, second by Martha. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? So carried, 500.
Great.
Is there, you want to do your report now? We've got things to sign by the state, but that doesn't involve you, I guess. So, why don't you tell us what some of your,
Well, the first thing I'm gonna have to do is go get a culvert on Cold Spring Road. But, no, that culvert has been there for a while, and I've been living right in that area for a little while now, and it was there when we moved in, but we'll get it. I know which one you're talking about.
okay, good enough.
As you can tell, we've started grading. Not on your side, Martha.
I
Still
know,
snow
it's
over there.
okay, it's okay. I know you're gonna come, and I'm not falling into
coming.
ditches yet, so.
That'll continue with the weather, with the rain and everything. We'll grade as we can and work our way throughout the whole town. We just started last week, which is really nice because it is early and it is needed.
Do you find the roads in pretty good shape after a rough winter, or?
A lot of potholes.
I know
A lot of potholes, but it rained and warmed up and snowed, and, so it wasn't really the best conditions. So for what we had, I don't think they're that terrible. We did go out a lot and touch up areas on warm spells this winter, and I feel that helped. I feel if we didn't do that, we would be in a lot worse shape.
Yeah.
And the gravel that we are using does work a lot better. The other thing that we're gonna continue to finish is, we've been kind of pecking away at it, is cleaning up the trees and brush on Buck Hill. We got another couple days up there, and the reason we're cutting that road back is the road's getting paved this summer. We got like 6 or 7 culverts to change out before we pave it, and thousands of feet of ditching to do up through there, so we just gotta, that's gonna be my main focus right now, is grading and finishing that before we start anything else.
Okay.
And then start maintaining our plow equipment and start putting that up for the summer. I don't like to put away stuff that's broken
No.
if we can't, so.
Tree work sometime later this summer. Some roads are really, a lot of dead trees and
There's
a lot of big
trees.
branches. Okay,
Yeah.
yep, okay. And any other questions, comments for Mike?
I guess it seems like we're gonna avoid a major mud season though, I guess. Is that true, or is
I think so, and I'm not complaining.
yeah.
Knock on wood.
I think our mud season was the President's Week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
That
was in
the worst we
February.
had in February,
It's crazy.
but I'll take it, it's over.
Yep.
I'm on to something else.
Good enough.
Great.
All right, thank
Thank you so much for
Thank you, Mike.
everything, Mike.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Have a good night.
You too, thanks.
Yeah, stop by tomorrow or the next day. Oh, I'm not here Wednesday. No.
Okay,
Wednesday, Thursday.
Every year, the state sends down things that we have to sign. Maybe you can explain them. What are they?
Yeah, these are the ones that are basic road and bridge standards. This is just a form filled out by the town every year. We do this every April. That's just attesting that we do all our road work according to the state standards, which is how we get all our state aid. So, and we do follow all these, obviously.
Okay, that, I signed that on page number 2, but then there's another one, back, town road and bridge standards and network inventory.
Yep, that needs a signature too.
Okay, so, why don't we,
Yeah, sorry, that one shouldn't have been attached. There's actually 3 things. You have to
yeah,
sign
okay,
all
right.
3 of
So
them.
this is the first one that just says that we're gonna do everything according to state standards, okay? I guess, probably need a motion.
You should probably make a motion to adopt it.
Okay, entertain a motion to sign the town road and bridge standards for the municipality of Shaftsbury, Vermont.
So moved.
Moved by Mike,
Second.
second by Tony. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
So carried, 500. There's that one.
Thank you.
The next one is a certificate of compliance for town road and bridge standards and network inventory.
I move to accept that.
Or sign this, okay?
Yes.
Moved by Martha, second by Mike. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? So carried, 500.
And that's just in the same group of annual paperwork we sent in to get the grants.
I'll let you date it, Dave.
Okay, yeah.
I know we're getting quite a pile today for her signing.
Okay, and another one is the annual financial plan, town highways, town of Shaftsbury, fiscal year 2024, beginning July 1st of 2023. This is the state telling us they'll give us like $1,200,000, is that,
Well, that's our money and their money.
that's our money and their money?
Yeah.
This is,
Yeah, that's just, it's kind of a formulaic thing where you break it into winter, summer, and it includes their money in there, the annual money we get, which I think is up to about $186,000 in aid every year. But that's all rolled into the total there of, was it 1.1 million, something like that?
1.2.
1.2 million, yeah.
Yep. Okay,
All right, so moved.
so moved by Mike,
Second.
second by Tony. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? So carried, 500.
And again, that's in that same package of annual, annual report to the state.
Okay, next on the agenda is the traffic speed ordinance adoption. We've been working on this for
Quite a while.
couple years now. It's on our website.
It's on the website. This is the last stage. We kept postponing the actual formal adoption as people requested different roads, but we have to kind of call a halt to it. Any more roads will be an amendment to this ordinance, because if we do it today, Mike and I can start collecting the signs, planning on getting them up, and have it all into effect within 60 days before the weather gets too nice. And you know, tomorrow we'll start the 45-day of a petition period where someone could file a petition to recall this vote tonight. But it's just, we just got to get this going. We've talked about it. The ordinance has been vetted by our attorneys. That was months ago when people kept requesting roads, and some were rejected and some were accepted, but it's just time to settle this, and we'll take up others later.
So all the roads listed here, and which is on the website,
Yeah,
are 25
Are
mile an hour.
25.
If your road is not listed, it's 35.
Yeah, 35, yes.
Okay.
We're getting rid of the one road that was 30, which is, you should never have one road out of 70 miles. That's a different speed limit. And there were a couple that were a little bit higher that really should never have been there.
Okay.
And a lot of those listed on the 25, there was a lot of oddities I found, like in Parent Acres, a couple of the thumbnails were just left off, but they still need a speed limit assigned to them. You know, Hidden Valley, a lot of those didn't have any assigned to it, and that was all 35. We changed that to 25, because it's all residential. People shouldn't be spinning around there at 35.
Okay.
So we need a motion?
So
Yes, you need a motion to adopt.
I need a motion that we will adopt this at this time. There's a 45-day period when somebody can
Contest?
Petition to,
petition,
Yeah.
and then 60 days from now,
60 days from tonight,
Or
it will
tonight.
be official unless a petition is filed.
unless it's, okay? Don't think we need a signature, we just need to have it, say that it
Just
was-
need to vote.
just need to vote, and you'll,
Actually, there is a signature page on the back there.
just by one person, is that right?
You should all sign it.
Okay.
Well, if the roads weren't as good as they are, we wouldn't have this trouble.
Well, yeah, one of the complaints I always got when the road started improving was people are speeding now. It's
Yeah.
like, we got rid of the bumps and the potholes, but yeah, people pick up speed. What happened? Something get out of sequence
Yeah,
there?
well, this is an invoice that probably isn't there, but I don't see a point where, should we just sign in the blank page?
Yeah, just sign the blank paper.
Okay.
Hey. Yeah, just sign on above the
Okay,
adoption notes.
okay, above it, okay.
Motion.
Make a motion.
Okay, so did somebody make a motion?
No.
I can go ahead. I'll make a motion to adopt the new speed ordinance. for the town of
Okay.
Shaftsbury.
Second.
Second by Tony. Discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? So carried, 500. And I'm gonna just sign up here and fill in. Dave will fill in the dates. When it comes. Next on the agenda is we're working now on a revised dog ordinance introduction. This is just an introduction to this. We'll go through the same process we did with the speed ordinances, with public feedback, all that sort of stuff. Then it will be, at some point, we will make it official, 45 days and then 60 days, and then it's an ordinance, okay? So it was adopted, their VLTC sent down a model dog control ordinance guidance, and a lot of this was established on, did we have one that we kind of redid, or did we not have any at all?
Well, we had a dog ordinance, but the reason I wanted to move to this one, I'll just skip down to it. This is the model ordinance from VLCT. We took off a couple of things like domestic animals because our animal control officer is actually a dog control officer. We don't get involved in any of these. Enforcement officer, the town constable cannot be involved in this. He will assist the animal control officer, but he can't issue violations. That's according to the law enforcement advisors at VLCT. That's a long story.
But our animal control officer can't.
The animal control officer can issue the violations. So the constable will be assisting, trying to make this a more efficient process. But this is the reason why I want to move to this, is the potentially vicious dog. And it just means that while a dog running at large inflicts minor injuries on a person not necessitating medical attention, chases, worries, threatens to attack or attacks a domestic pet or animal, causes damage to real property, all these things in a fear of attack, that can trigger a vicious dog hearing. Now, we've had an incident where dogs had gone on other properties, killed some domestic pets, had worried and scared and frightened, and however you want to phrase it, people on the property. But under the old one, you really had to be a vicious dog. It had to do injury to a human, and it required a trip to the hospital. So this is new wording. It does open it up a great deal, but I kind of felt pretty bad when the person is telling me the story and we have this vague thing, because I was surprised, and the troopers responded also, that the killing of the man's pets didn't count. You know, so yeah, so it was, I think it's just something we need to do. Most of the rest of it is the same wording we've had for a while. There is, of course, a defense for this if you're teasing or otherwise harassing the dog and it's, you know, nipping at you. The rest of these are kind of just reworded, and this will be on the webpage tomorrow, anybody wants to look at it. Rewording and formatting it a little bit differently into calling these nuisances that can be addressed by violations. And then we have, again, it gets back to the potentially vicious dog, which is now nuisance 6. Again, we're striking out a few things. It'll be the Bennington County Superior Court or the Vermont Judicial Bureau at the discretion of the enforcement officer. And it's an enforcement officer other than ACO because it could be a sheriff or a trooper who issues a violation that would go separate ways. The ACOs will always be in the Vermont Judicial Bureau, but the sheriffs and the troopers could go somewhere else if they choose to. And then the penalties and costs were kind of up in the air. So as you go down, you'll see that I'm proposing that all the offenses be the same. I didn't fill in all the other boxes, but just using the lack of current license of dog. The first offense is a warning or impoundment or a $35 fine. If you get the violation, you can just come in, it's called a waiver fee, and just pay $15 instead of the $35 and get your dog license. It goes up each time. Second time is $75, and the third time is $150 with a waiver of $75. Now, I would recommend that for running at large, and going back up the list here a little bit, for running at large, unconfined dog in heat, disturbing the peace, failure to remove waste, all be the same fines, so we just don't have a wide variety of fines here. I just don't see any point in that, because we'll get the message across one way or the other. The potentially vicious dog, I doubled everything because I think we just have to view that as a far more serious offense. And then after the third offense, it becomes a different legal matter of if you're not doing anything, we'll have to look into it further. But every one of these has the waiver fee, which is half or less of the original fee. I know I'm scrolling through this fast, but it's easier to read this on the webpage than to try and do it here anyway. And like I said, everybody will be posted tomorrow on the webpage. Sequencing of events or offenses. A violation after 6 months will be, a second violation after 6 months from the original violation will be considered a new violation. Because you don't want it compounding over the course of a year. So if you have a violation and 6 months go by and everything went well, and your dog gets loose again, we'll just count it as a first violation. Reckless dog owner, again though, I made doubled or tripled it to 12 months because then you're putting people in fear and there's a real possibility of something happening here. And that has requirements for a behavior modification program and proof to the ACO that this has been done. This gets, rightfully a far more serious approach to taking it. But as I said, the main issue here, and this goes into impoundment, which when we started the kennel, we added all this stuff in a few months ago. But the real purpose of amending this again is to give us the ability to address a dog that doesn't go right out and bite someone, but is on the property threatening, harassing, or attacking one of the pets on the property. And this will give us the ability to get right into that, which I think is important. Like I said, I felt bad that we didn't have something a little bit better on the books before. But so this is the information. It's best everybody who's interested in this just reads it through because we really can't do it in a meeting like this.
It's quite a few pages on it.
It's quite a few pages. But everyone look through it and it'll be up for discussion at the next meeting, and we'll probably do the introduction at the meeting after that. And then it'll have the same 45 and 60-day cycle. But then we'll have a lot more, I almost said bite in our ordinance, that would have been a bad pun, but a lot more to back up our enforcement, so.
And this will completely erase the old one? And
Yeah, it completely erases, completely replaces it,
Okay.
which I think it's time to do. I mean, I've been on with this with Tracy for years, and she was very reluctant to change anything to do with anything. And it just kind of bogged down. But we have new people setting up a new arrangement. We have new enforcement methods, new paperwork, of course, so we can document everything a lot more carefully. And time to move ahead and address some of these problems.
Great.
Any questions for Dave? Anybody on Zoom got any
Let me
questions?
stop my share and see if anyone has any questions out there. Nope. Okay.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Dave. Same with stop sign ordinances and all that sort of stuff.
Well, this is just, again, just to get the message out there, because I know how painfully long the speed ordinance took. It's just, if you're thinking about an intersection, you're thinking, oh, we should have a stop or a yield here, send me an email, give me a call. Speed signs are far more restricted in implementation than speed zones, but we'll look at anything. But if you're thinking of something, let us know, because I'd like to get this written up and introduced almost in the same timeline as the dog ordinance, so we can get these signs up and in place soon. But yeah, tonight I just wanted to get it out there. If you're thinking of an intersection, let us know. I think a lot of people will be surprised where you can't put stop signs, and they cannot be used to slow traffic. But and that's stop and yield. So if you're thinking of something, just shoot me an email. Leave a message on the phone, give me a call, and we'll look at everything that's suggested and we'll see what we can do with it.
Of course, the biggest one we talked about previously was Myers, or not,
Murphy Hill and Tinkham.
Murphy, Tinkham,
Yeah.
Leclerc, Eleanor's
Yeah.
Way, all
Yeah.
of that coming together.
Yeah.
I'd like to get somebody from the state. If we have quite a few people come in, I would like to bring somebody from the state and just get their opinion on some of these, okay?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the one at Tinkham and Leclerc, it's just a terrible intersection because the sight line's terrible from any direction, but someone
And
has to
Steve-
come to a complete stop.
And some people have said concerned about if they stop on Tinkham or Murphy in the wintertime, they can't get
Trying to
going
get
again,
the
so
incline.
we
Yeah.
really need to put some thought into it.
Yeah.
I know previous select board members have told me many a heated discussion was spent talking
imagine.
about that. It still is a
can
problem,
imagine.
so.
What about the intersection, it's due north of the intersection you live on, like, is it Coulter, and I'm not sure what all those, it just seems very natural for it to be a four-way. Every time I stop there, I'm surprised that I don't actually have a stop sign, because it'd be, I guess all the road names,
Oh.
is it Tinkham coming down, it's Coulter
Yeah,
coming up?
there's stop signs on the cross street.
Right,
Yeah.
I always feel like it should be a four-way, I always stop and then I'm like, oh, I don't actually have a stop sign, but.
Yeah, four-way stops on rural roads are really discouraged because it leads to people ignoring them. And that's what you're going to find with a lot of the suggestions I'll get is there's rural roads are not really, there has to be a real reason to put a stop or yield sign up, because otherwise the worst thing that you can do in traffic planning is create things that people will just ignore. And then it becomes more dangerous. Most people, the common sense sets in. But yeah, that corner, and that was investigated by the state years ago.
A resident on that road was complaining about speeding, and so the select board said, well, put a stop sign there, and the state came down and said, there's no way that, because people are just gonna, because it's a straightaway,
Yeah.
they're just gonna.
And what happens,
speed
yeah,
up.
and what happens is people get used to never ever seeing a car, and then they just ignore it, and then there's the car there.
Yeah, okay.
And I agree, the other one though, Tinkham and Murphy Hill, what it needs is a good bulldozer to lower the whole thing, but that's not gonna happen.
No. Okay, any other things? Again, please get in touch with Dave,
Yep,
call or email.
call or email and we'll have a look at everything. But I would like to get it going, and when we have it all written up, not start on another 20 roads. Okay.
Okay. Oh, we're up to other business.
Got nothing.
Nothing?
No.
Naomi, other business?
Nothing.
Okay. Well,
I won't be at the next meeting. I'll be on vacation.
Good for
So we'll have Jen or Shelley with the magic computer here.
but you'll send out the agenda.
Yeah, I'll work that all out before I go.
When are you heading out?
The 16th, is that?
Okay, so a
yeah.
Sunday. And
Yeah.
when are you returning?
Not till the following Sunday.
Excellent.
Yes, I will be
Enjoy.
away.
Have a great time.
Enjoy.
Well, same to
Much
you, Naomi.
needed.
Yeah.
Enjoy your trip,
Thank
Naomi.
you. Thank you. And I will be airborne when the next meeting happens, so I won't be able to zoom in.
Okay.
Sorry, I'll see you.
Oh, very good. Well, thank you for letting us know.
Thank you.
So, if there are no other business, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Mike,
Second.
second by Tony. Any discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Thank you, everybody, for your time.
Bye, Naomi.
Thank you.
Your membership will help us continue covering meaningful, local content. Thank you for supporting your local community media station.